Modern Zombies is some of the most contentious zombies that has been released since, I'd argue, Black Ops 4. Since the release of Cold War, we've entered this new era where the gameplay, systems and mechanics were entirely overhauled, leading to a split in the entire zombies community into two major factions: modern zombies enjoyers and classic zombies enjoyers. Each game after Cold War has tried to explore more of these modern mechanics, such as Vanguard's Outbreak mode and Modern Warfare Zombies' fully open world zombies. Black Ops 6 did try to make some compromises to the classic zombies fans, like not using multiplayer maps as their map design, deeper Easter eggs, and improvements to the modern mechanics to make them feel a lot more appealing to these classic fans. Did they succeed or not? That's really up to you. But what I'd like to do today is I would like to, as someone who actually somewhat enjoys the modern mechanics of the newer zombie games, particularly Black Ops 6 and Cold War, I want to list the 7 most important game additions that Black Ops 6 needs in order to become one of the best zombies modes Treyarch has ever released. The first thing I would like to discuss is an improvement to the perk system. Now, first and foremost, I want to get it out of the way. I think no perk limits is an improvement. I don't like a 4 perk limit. I don't like the idea of having to increase your perks by doing some mundane task every game. I think you should just get a no perk limit, right? But I do have some improvements I want to make to the perk system, and I'm gonna give some of these ideas now. I think the perks themselves need to have set prices. Set prices need to be brought back, like Juggernog is 2,500. Quick Revive with its newer functions can be 1,500. And Speed Cola stays at 3,000 and so on, instead of the incrementally increasing prices. I don't think there's a need for that. I think the augment system in Black Ops 6 was a fantastic step in the right direction, but I think we need to deepen that. I think new augments needed to be added to each perk that already existed continuously as the seasons went on. So new Juggernog augments were added in Season 4, say, for example. And I think Black Ops 7 needs to do something like that. We can't just have the same augments. I think by the end of Black Ops 7, we need to have 6 major and 6 minor augments per perk. I think at the bare minimum. I also think the perks should be able to be upgraded within the game as well as the augment system. This is a nice balance between the in-game progression and the menu progression. And the way I think this should be done was, I think we could have little side quests, but honestly, these side quests would have to be generic, right? Because you'd want to be able to upgrade your perks on every map. Like, for example, you'd want to have upgraded Jug on every map, not just one map, which means these side quests would have to be generic, like take 50 damage from zombies in order to upgrade your Jug. No, I don't think that should be how it is. Let me break it down. The base form of Jug, including the first 1 major and 1 minor augment, costs 2,500 points. Then say you want to upgrade Jug by adding another major augment to your Juggernog in-game. You do this in-game, not in the menus, by the way. You can go up to the Juggernog machine and pay another 500 points at the Juggernog machine. And this lets you select a different major augmentation to add on top of the one you have. And let's say you pay 250 points for a minor augmentation. So you could upgrade your perks as you go, and each major and minor augmentation costs 250 and 500 points. And you can upgrade it until you have all of the ones that work together. Obviously, there would have to be some rework here, because something like Turtle Shell doesn't work with another augment, for example. Let's say there's an augment that turns your shield, your armor or your shield into, it only protects you at the sides or something, like something simple like that, but they obviously wouldn't work together. So obviously there has to be some pairings that are restricted, but for the most part I think this could work. And I think for some of them lesser powerful perks, this would be really beneficial. For something like depth perception, say, you could have the you can pick up spare change and you get the enhanced minimap if you play with minimaps, and this allows you to basically increase the potency of the perk while also paying for it in the later game, basically. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm hoping for with the perk system here, is we have upgradable in-game perks, we have no perk limit, and the perks have a set price. They're my 3 major points, along with the augments as well. Now, moving on to number 2, I want to talk about the improved point system. First and foremost, my biggest issue with the current point system is melee should never be less points on a headshot. No matter how overpowered or powerful you make the melee, the risk and reward, especially in them later rounds where the zombies are super sprinters and they're dealing like 90 damage a hit or 125 damage a hit, melee doesn't work. The risk reward here for 105 points isn't enough. Melee always needs to be more than a headshot. So that needs to be reworked immediately. Melee has to be more. I don't really think the old point system in its entirety works with the new mechanics, just because I know we have guns that are weaker in this game. Like you have stuff like the compact, right? It's a piece of shit. The compact's a piece of shit, but it also still kills in them later rounds. So I don't think a fully classic point system works. Okay, you can disagree. I know this is a big contentious point, so people could probably disagree with me. That's fine. I don't mind. Let me know in the comments below if you don't agree with my new suggestion, but I do have a suggestion to make a sort of cross, right? So, you can get 100 points from just shooting a zombie base, right? This is my new idea. So, you get 100 points from just shooting zombies base. So, you get 10 shots off with the compact, you get 100 points. You get 10 shots off with the maelstrom, you get 100 points on a zombie. Then you can get 50 points for a body shot kill, 100 for a headshot kill, and 125 for a melee kill on top of that 100 points that you've gotten from shooting the zombie in the body. Basically, this leads to 150 points being the minimum in this new system, 215 being the standard headshot kill if you get the 10 points, and then 225 for getting the melee kill, which is a massive increase on the points that we have at the minute, and then that could be doubled with double points and stuff like this. This incentivizes weak weapons that can still kill but take much longer to do so. It also allows for stuff like my new perk system upgrade to work because you're getting more of them points, whereas in the current system I'm not sure if my perk upgrade system would work. So the perk upgrade system and this new point system kind of come hand in hand. I hope I explained that clear enough. If you need me to explain it a bit further, ask me in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this video so far and like some of my suggestions, feel free to leave a like and subscribe, as we are aiming to hit 750 subscribers by the end of the year. We are also going to be doing a major push when Black Ops 7 comes out, including zombie camo grinds, zombie dark ops grinds, Easter egg grinds, multiplayer camo grinds, the whole lot. I'm really excited for Black Ops 7. I think it looks fantastic, and we're going to be doing a serious push on this channel for it. So yeah, stick around if you're interested in that at all. Alright, number 3, we have weapon rarities. The improvements here actually tie into the Vanguard Zombies system, and I think this is one of the few things that Vanguard Zombies got right. Instead of using salvage as a currency to upgrade your weapons alongside Pack-a-Punch so that you have these two kind of conflicting systems, I think instead you should tie the rarity directly to Pack-a-Punch. So for example, Pack-a-Punch level 1 is blue rarity, Pack-a-Punch level 2 is purple, and Pack-a-Punch level 3 is gold. So this comes with the same damage effects as a current gold Pack-a-Punch tier 3 weapon, but you don't have to spend the salvage on it, which leaves you the ability to spend salvage elsewhere, more importantly, but also it comes with just simplifying the system rather than having these two different upgrade systems that don't really do anything. The weapon rarity system doesn't really do anything. So all it does is upgrade your weapon's damage, but that's what Pack-a-Punch is there for. Just combine the two systems if you want to have a rarity system. Combine the two systems, and I think that will make a massive improvement to the system. I also want to add in here, the upgrading system also comes with a rework to the Pack-a-Punch system. Now, the Pack-a-Punch system in Modern Zombies, I think is just too expensive and incentivizes you only using 1 or 2 guns. Like, for the most time, you will not have 2 Pack-a-Punch tier 3 weapons and your perks by round 30. You just won't, unless you got extremely lucky or you have insane game knowledge. Like, Shattered Veil comes to mind, where it's like, first off, you have your normal weapon, you use it, and then you get the ray gun, and you have to upgrade your ray gun, the Mark III, to fight T-Rex, the Z-Rex. So you end up having to scrap your bullet weapon in order to focus fully on the ray gun, and I just don't like that as a system. So my new rework of the Pack-a-Punch system is Pack-a-Punch 1 will now cost 5,000 points, as it always has. Pack-a-Punch 2 will cost 10,000 points instead of 15,000, and Pack-a-Punch 3 will cost 15,000. This brings the total cost to 30,000, which I think makes the idea of running more than 1 or 2 weapons much more viable. This also reduces the strain on salvage, allowing you to use that exclusively for kill streaks and ammo mods and other upgrades in the game, rather than having to use your salvage mostly on your weapons, because I don't mess around with kill streaks. I don't use them. I don't see a point, because all of that salvage in the early game has to go into my weapon, or I feel like I'm not playing optimally. Same with ammo mods. I just don't use them because I feel like if I'm not upgrading my weapon, I'm not playing optimally. So really, I think this allows the salvage system to take a little bit of a break, and it just makes the fun factor of hitting the box and potentially getting a weapon that you want to upgrade more viable now, rather than spending fucking 50,000 points on upgrading one gun. So yeah, that's my Pack-a-Punch rarity kind of combination system that I would like to see changed. Alright, I'd like to talk about armor and kill streaks next as point number 4. And I think armor needs to be reworked to be closer to its Cold War counterpart. The plating manually just does not really work. It's irritating, it takes you out of the flow of gameplay, and it just feels like you're doing it constantly. Plating should be automatic like it was in Cold War. It shouldn't need to have been changed in the first place. Now, a return to just a shield, I don't believe would work in the current system of zombies, and would require a complete rework of how modern mechanics work, and I just don't think that's realistic for this new game, especially with what we know. So I'm just going to talk about it now, and improvements to the armor system now that we have that could be put into the next zombies mode. Also, I think a lot of people give the shield some weird importance value, and really the armor is essentially the same thing. The shield and the armor are functionally the same thing. The only thing that is missing is giving the armor some of that special functionality, like the Dragon Fireball or the Rocket Shield from Shadows of Evil, right? And this is where my first major armor rework comes in, aside from the auto plating, and that is adding some of this ability to the armor. So augmentations should be on armor as well. I think there should be augments on nearly everything. I think augments should be on your weapons, and I think they should be on your armor. And think about it, for example, you could have Burnt Out as an augment, right? Let's say every time you go down a plate of armor, your armor releases this fireball, which is essentially the Burnt Out Gobblegum, and this gives the armor a bit more personality. It makes it a bit more zombified, and it really makes the system kind of benefit more like the old shield. You could have an augment where you boost forward suddenly, like the Rocket Shield, for example. So this makes it more visually and also more functionally like a shield, and it allows you to keep that same kind of protection from all over that modern zombies really needs. I think adding augments would really make the armor feel unique, and it would fix a lot of the complaints with armor, or even in-game upgrades. Something like the Golden Shield or something like that paired with the augments would be perfect. So you could also have in-game upgrades as well as your augments, and that's what I'm kind of trying to come to this nice balance of in-game progression and out-of-game progression, so it doesn't feel like you're completely resetting. Because one of my biggest draws that got me back into zombies after my long hiatus was the RPG mechanics of Cold War zombies. And I like that there's now a give and take with augments, and I think that could be used to really enhance every aspect of the game, while also allowing the players that want to upgrade their stuff in-game to have their systems as well, with stuff like my new perk system and my new armor system. Now, kill streaks need to be greatly revamped, in my opinion. These are just functionally not very good at the minute. I think the Mangler injection is a streak I would like to imagine as... So, the Mangler injection is one of the most unique zombie streaks, and it is basically identical to something like spider bait, right? You can transform into a Mangler, you can transform into a spider. That's, I'm assuming, where they got the idea. The issue with the Mangler streak is you just buy it with salvage, or you get it from killing a Mangler, right? And my big issue here is Spiderbait had you do a whole quest involving that enemy. So what I'm suggesting is there should be a kill streak like the Mangler injection on every map, right? There should be, because I think it's a cool kill streak. It's a nice fun gimmick, and it lets you really kind of mess around with things, right? But it should be limited to 1 round, and you should have to complete a quest to do it. And the most important aspect is that quest should be themed around the elite enemy introduced on this new map. For example, on the Reckoning, you could become an Uberklaus by doing an Uberklaus quest line, or the Shock Mimic by doing a Shock Mimic quest line, and all of these quest lines could combine into new kill streaks. So the Shock Mimic could have a new ability that allows you to stun zombies with like a dead wire effect, and the Reckoning Uberklaus could shoot the electric balls that deal major damage to anything that comes into its range, and the Amalgam could give you a grapple where you can grapple enemies. That's just a couple of examples, and this really allows you to team the kill streak around the map and around the enemies, and it allows you to build in a nice little Easter egg in there as well, which gives that extra content that I feel a lot of people are missing. So yeah, I would rework them injection kill streaks. I would keep them, but they should be limited to 1 round, so they're not dominating the high round meta, and they should be themed to the elite introduced on that map. Now, looking at the salvage-based kill streaks, I think they should mostly stay the same, with the exception of they need to be zombified. We shouldn't have a chopper gunner or an LDBR. So, like, imagine, for example, we had, instead of the LDBR or the Hellstorm, you could have a Forsaken Strike, for example, which is the Forsaken releasing Aether Crystals and Aether Blasts or Void Blasts onto an area. Or you could have like instead of a death machine, you could have like a Chrysalax shooter, right? Like, I'm just coming up with these ideas on the fly. I just have a couple of little notes that I'm using to base my ideas off here. But like, you could have the Chrysalax launcher, which is basically a death machine, but it shoots out Chrysalax crystals, and it's like, it's themed for zombies. And that, I think that's the biggest issue, is these kill streaks work, but they just aren't themed correctly, and they could be completely rethemed, and I feel like they would fit zombies a lot more, and people wouldn't complain as much. Now, of course, you could say you could add unique ways to unlock these, but also I don't think there's a problem with the salvage score streak system at the minute. I do think upgrades are something that could be done for specific streaks on specific maps, where you could buy them with salvage, but you could then upgrade them at a point, and then you have to spend points or get max ammos to rebuy these perks, these score streaks. But yeah, that's kind of my idea with kill streaks, is you could rework them, and each of the injections should be themed around a specific map or a specific enemy. Looking at number 5, we need improved events. Black Ops 7 needs to improve its event quality and quantity. This goes for the gameplay of the event and the rewards we get for interacting with that gameplay as well. Starting off, I want to talk about the leaderboard events. These are competitive in nature, but the rewards themselves don't make that competition worthwhile. The leaderboard events should have the following. And before anyone says I'm asking for too much or blah blah blah, we pay upwards of €110 for this game. The bundles are there, the battle pass are there. This is not a cheap company. This is a Microsoft-backed Activision. They have as much money as they could ever ask for in the world. It is not unreasonable to ask for what I am asking for, okay? It is just not. The game shouldn't have a cash shop to begin with, so they're lucky I'm not even talking about the cash shop here. But what I'm asking for is completely doable, and it should be done. Gobblegums should stay as they are now. The Gobblegum rewards should stay as they are now. But if you become first, you should get double of all of the Gobblegums beneath that first tier, and you should get double of the first tier Gobblegum. So that means 2 of every Gobblegum that's in that. There should be a skin. Each of the leaderboards should have a new skin for your operator for coming in the top 10, so an operator skin, a weapon blueprint for the top 5, and a universal camo for the top 3. That is the bare minimum. That should be on these leaderboards events. And then there should be, of course, the miscellaneous cosmetics like new emblems, new calling cards, and new charms should be given. These should be spaced out. I also think there should be a generalized seasonal leaderboard system that has this as well, so that you could get your overall score for these leaderboard events and then get a massive reward at the end if you're high enough on the seasonal leaderboard. And I think there should be a calling card again, like in competitive, that increases in cool factor the higher you up you are on these leaderboards as well. If you're gonna add these leaderboard events in, make them worthwhile, make me want to play them. The only one I've ever gotten close to beating is the Reckoning one, and that's because I love the Reckoning and I was just playing that map. I wasn't even trying to compete, and I came second. So honestly, this needs to be completely reworked, these leaderboard events, to be just a bit more beneficial to the player. Looking at the just generalized gameplay events, if these events can be completed in zombies like most of them are, there should be zombie selectable styles or zombie themed rewards for completing the event in zombies. That's just my opinion, but I think if you're completing an event in zombies, there should be zombie themed rewards. It is shocking how few zombie themed rewards there were in this year's zombies, yet in last year's zombies, in Modern Warfare zombies, we had an entire Walking Dead season. Like, how is that fair? Add more zombie themed rewards into these events. Number 6 is expanded side Easter eggs. We need more map unique side Easter eggs to give the player unique map specific upgrades. Some examples of these are, of course, the golden armor, the cursed talisman, and the aether blade. Each map should have at least one item of this quality, if not more. I would argue more. You know, again, as I said, this isn't a perk studio. This is a studio with like 3,000 employees work at Activision. You can afford to make a golden armor and an aether blade per map. Like, it's only 2 things. We used to get 4 elemental weapon upgrades, plus the airstrikes, plus the tanks, plus the golden shovel. We used to get a bunch of unique items per map. They can do it again. It is not unreasonable to ask for this. We should be able to get multiple upgrades. I would also think upgrades like the armor upgrade, the golden armor. The golden armor should have a quest in every map. It's that good, it is that useful, it should be in every map. As I was saying, this goes back to what I was saying earlier with the augments and the upgrades to the armor. You should be able to upgrade your armor in every map, make it more zombified, make it more quality of life, you know, improve all that aspect of it. It should be there. Treyarch can theme it around whatever they want. You could do a blood sacrifice on every map, I don't know, but I think it should be there. It makes the game a bit deeper, and it makes map knowledge a bit more important. Side quests also need to have more depth in Black Ops 7. The Aether Blade or Gold Armor, for example, they're good items to unlock, especially the Golden Armor. The Aether Blade's a bit underwhelming, but it's fun. But the Golden Armor has an intense combat portion, yes, but the side quest itself is incredibly short. You're just picking up 2 heads, putting them on statues, and doing the combat section. And yeah, it's a tough combat encounter. I'm not saying it's not, but it's still a simple acquisition process. And then if you look at the Aether Blade, man, what even is that quest? That is one of the easiest quests I've ever seen to get the unique item. No, they need to be deeper, they need to be more advanced. You need I'd like for the maps to take a couple of days to solve, rather than, you know, solving everything incredibly quickly. And I know you're gonna say, like, maybe the Aether Blade took a while to solve. That was because it was soft locked, or it was locked out of content. Time gate is what I'm thinking. And I just don't think that counts. These rewards should be deeper. I think the best example of a side quest on this game is probably the Cursed Talisman when it comes to depth. It had you go across the entire map. It had you interacting with multiple items and doing multiple different steps. I think that should be the minimum quality for these unique reward side quests. But honestly, I think they could go deeper than that again. I think these side quests really, they need to look at the depth now as well as the quantity, because we've upped the quantity from Cold War. I'm not so sure. Sure, the quality has definitely gotten better, but I'm not sure by how much. And now, finally, number 7, I want to talk about the evolution of the main quest rewards. And again, going into this, people might be like, you're asking for too much. No, I'm not. This is one of the biggest studios in the world. They can do it. They've done it before. So main quest rewards is, I want to talk about the quantity and quality of the Easter egg rewards. I think, first off, I think there should be a hardcore or early completion skin. It could be a simple recolor of the base Easter egg completion skin. That's all I'm asking for. A recolor, like instead of the Weaver shirt being orange and black for the Citadel of the Morts, have it be green and black for the people that beat the Easter egg early. A simple recolor, but it would make standing out and completing the Easter egg earlier so much more worthwhile, rather than just getting a simple, like, recolored for the calling card. I'd now keep the recolored calling cards because they are cool, but I think it would be more impressive to also get a skin to show off that skill factor there. I also think at 5 completions of a main quest, you should unlock a new Wonder Weapon skin for every map. Every map's new Wonder Weapon should have a new skin that's attached to 5 Easter egg completions. At 10 completions, you should unlock a new weapon blueprint that's tied or themed around the map. And then at 15, you should get another mastery skin for another character as well as the original Easter egg characters. So say we get a character for Weaver, a skin for Weaver, and then we also get a skin for Richtofen for completing it 15 times, because we have 8 playable characters here, and we want each character to get a reward as part of the Easter egg. So each map should have at least 2 skins for your characters. Then, of course, there should be speedrunning challenges. I know this idea has been floated around. This is not just my idea, but I like it, so I'm going to include it here. There should be speedrunning challenges that award the players with the map's 3 staged Pack-a-Punch camos. So if you beat it in, like, let's say 30 minutes for Liberty Falls, then 20 minutes, then 10 minutes. I know that's not realistic, but, like, if you do beat that, you unlock all 3 stages of the Pack-a-Punch camo to use universally. They are the 7 core areas that I want to see improved, but I also have some small additional points that I think the game would benefit from. I think having new Dark Ops per map release, Easter egg and non-Easter egg related, would make the map a bit more fun to enjoy. The ability to earn bounties or bundles, similar to what I described in my Evolution of Rewards video. The only reason I'm not including that here is because I already went over that in the Evolution of Rewards. More progression outside of the battle pass. There needs to be more progression to the game outside of battle passes. I'm so sick of battle passes. Like, there's nothing to do once you beat the battle pass. It's ridiculous. And then I'd say less gimmicky side modes and more of a focus on modes that work, like Outbreak, Onslaught, Grief, and Cranked. I think that is a good start. People like Cranked. I love Onslaught. I think it's a shame Onslaught never came back. It's such a fun map mode. Grief is great, and Outbreak, I know there are a sect of people that like open world zombies, so there should be some form of Outbreak mode. I think round base should be the focus, but I don't see the harm in making an Outbreak mode, especially if they put their B team on it. Like, let people that enjoy Outbreak have that as well. Alright, that is my wish list. Let me know what you want to see in Black Ops 7 in the comments below. Let me know if you agree or disagree with my points. I'd say there's a couple of points in there people would disagree with. Maybe the point system, most importantly. I think that was the most controversial one. And maybe some of the stuff I said about armor. But anyway, don't forget to subscribe, as we are nearly at 750 and we are aiming for it by the end of the year. I will see you on Monday for the release of the history of Wonder Weapons in COD Zombies. I hope. I'm not going to guarantee, but I hope. Okay, that is me over and out.